very well throughout this tournament, and they haven't quite swung it yet. And so does that continue, or do you get back closer to the Arkansas offensive seen all year? That's the question at this point, because I think a lot of people kind of gave Bear Jones some flack after game one because it was an 0 for 5 game with 5 Ks, and people still don't realize that he still accounted for less than a third of the strikeouts that LSU had in that game. If we want to tell the truth about it, there were still 16 strikeouts in the game, right? So, like, at the end of the day, when I think about it, so you put that pitching performance together, and then the very next day they use one arm that goes the distance, no hit, 19 strikeouts, and then they threw it well again yesterday. So I expect, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 5th time LSU plays Arkansas this year. I expect to play, the field starts, they play each other a lot. The field starts to even out in terms of how the game gets played, especially at this point. So if they're pitching it well, LSU's playing well, I expect a lot of that. So I'm not expecting really like a high run scored ball game, but I'm expecting a lot of really good execution, and I'm expecting 1 or 2 moments to really flip the game and kind of put it where one team has the advantage over the other.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the big thing for LSU, especially in that ballpark, is you have to throw strikes, right? So, like, you have to throw the ball over the plate, force the opposing team to get multiple hits to score runs. If you give them gifts and you walk them and you allow them to have 2, 3 RBI base hits, that's kind of where the disaster happens. LSU's done a good job of throwing strikes up to this point. Obviously, you have your 2 aces. You didn't really get to see Einstein throw the entire game. Looked good when he was in there. Obviously, minus that first inning, kind of righted the ship. Felt like he was going to cruise the rest of the game and kind of hold him at that 3 spot. Didn't work out. Obviously, rain delay, and then Evans did the exact same thing. Filled up the zone, got in and out of out of the windup. Tempo was really good, and so. I think for LSU is one of their throwing strikes, making sure that they force Arkansas to beat them by swinging the bat, not giving them an opportunity to kind of create a bunch of momentum with one, a base, like a 2 RBI single. Who do you think starts for Arkansas?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe the lefty. I forget his last name. Starts with a B. Maybe him, possibly. They threw Jimenez yesterday as well, so I doubt that he's going to throw. I don't think Gackle's going to come back this early, so I'm going to guess maybe the lefty, who had been, for the most part, I think either their Saturday or Sunday guy pretty much the whole year, but he had been in the rotation the whole year. I would imagine there's a good chance Landon Beetleshies or whatever his name is.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
he's going to show up.
I think he gets the start. It would make sense in that situation, but it is kind of it's an all hands on deck situation for them. Obviously, they need to win to extend the season. So I think he gets the ball. How long he stays, I think it has to do with effectiveness.
Yeah.
So they have,
I agree.
Just real quick, sorry. They have.
No, good. Chime in. Where's your camera? I want to see you.
You want to see the? Yeah, you want to see the.
We gotta see you.
Hold on, I have to lean up. It looks awful whenever I have to move the microphone. If you can see the rest of this room, it's a disaster. But for Arkansas, you've had Zach Root at 125 pitches as of Tuesday, Geichel at 90 on Saturday, Cole Gibbler, the Gillett machine, at 21 on Saturday, Christian Fouch threw 8 Saturday, Gage Wood, obviously with the no-hitter / perfect game / got an out on somebody that leaned into a pitch. I had a great conversation with Paul Gervais and Trey Morgan, as it was an all-time debate between those two as if that was supposed to count or not. You got the offensive side of it versus the pitcher side of it. And then you have Aiden Jimenez with 41 on Tuesday, Will McIntyre, 33 on Tuesday. Remaining arms, Landon Beetlejuice, Dylan Carter, Ben Beebe, Colin Fisher, Parker Coyle, and Steele Eves on the Arkansas side. For LSU, go ahead.
I think any of those guys that have, you gave what, four guys or so that had 40 or less pitches, all those guys I think will be available.
I mean, they're playing for the tournament live.
For an inning, maybe.
Yeah, those guys are available, but I'm thinking.
Yeah, but not for extended time.
Landon's got 15 appearances on the year and 12 starts. I would imagine he's the one that's probably going to get it. I just, that's just kind of where I would lean at that point. Can we? I kind of want to have that conversation, especially once we get to like this point in the year. But I really do think that needs to be something kind of the whole year. As a pitcher, your job is to throw strikes. You throw to the glove, like that's supposed to be your job, correct?
Correct.
I never really had a problem with it before, but I think right now at this point, I'm starting to. And here's where I'm going with this. If the plate extended all the way up, the plate does not run into the batter's box. So as a hitter, if you choose to have body parts hanging over the plate, I think at that point, if you get hit or you move into it, however it looks at it, it should still be governed, I guess, the way it is. But if the pitch that gets thrown hits a batter in the batter's box, man, I think that's, at that point, like, it needs to be you get your base point. Like I shouldn't have to move out of the way or not even be able to move into it if the pitch is actually physically in the batter's box. Feel what I'm saying?
Correct. Like if it's him in the back leg and he's not crossed the white line toward them, the chalk. Yeah, correct. I agree. I think that, and here's the deal, and I think there's been a lot of conversation about this. Like it's a split second that you have to make a decision to get hit or not get hit. It's not like you have all this time to like turn or, okay, I'm going to lean into it and get hit. It's just like, it's kind of a reaction thing. It's like, oh, I turned, I kind of want to get hit. It's like, that's so hard to judge as far as, the intent of that.
And the reason why I'm like bringing this up too, the reason why I think about this too, is because I do think, especially as we're like coming nearer and closer to putting like the automatic zone into effect, I do think if you're going to make these pitchers understand that, hey, you can literally throw a ball. If the ball is inside the batter's box, the batter he can dive at the ball and get hit by it if he wants to. I guess my point for saying this is because with that all coming into effect, you're making the pitcher not feel like they can miss anywhere, that they can do anything.
Right.
You're going to start feeling like, hey, I want to buzz this tower, but I can't throw it in the box or he's just going to be on. Right? I want to buzz the tower, but it has to stay inside this tube, if you will. So if you keep them there, to me, you're starting to encourage more contact at the plate. You're starting to encourage more swing spots at the plate, right? And I think that's better for the game as opposed to saying I can go paint 0-2, and then I can throw the next one way up and in, and then now I can dance and do what I want.
Right.
I just don't. I think that's kind of starting to get to a spot where it's a little wonky at this point, right? Like, I don't necessarily think those decisions that were made in the other game, the Arkansas game the other day, were wrong. I'm just thinking about it like going forward. It's like, man, you're putting a hitter at a very, like you said, defensive position in a spot where he's supposed to be offensive. And now all of a sudden my mindset and I'm supposed to make that kind of quick of a decision to be defensive and get out of like, I just don't think some people have that. I just don't. Like, I think some people are stuck in that decision that they made and they just stay there. I know for me, like as a hitter, I spent my life trying to avoid tackles. So I see the baseball the same way in terms of if I'm not going to swing, but everybody doesn't look at it that way. Right. And I think that's a difficult conversation and a difficult thing to ask of a hitter in that kind of a split-second decision.
It's just hard. Like there's a lot of things there's a lot of moving parts for umpires, and like to have to make a decision based off intent on someone else's, like it just gets a lot of the gray area, and it's not. I don't love it. But back to the whole reason this conversation started is that that guy from Arkansas, Gage Woods, threw basically a perfect game. 19 strikeouts, one of the best performances you're ever going to see in a college baseball game and a baseball game in general. But he's obviously not available. So I believe I'm on board with you. I think they're going to throw the guy that has the most experience as a starter. And I believe LSU is going to throw Cowan. I don't think they've announced any of that yet. I'm saying this based off of literally a fan, like us watching the games and seeing what's happened throughout the course of the year.
Okay, if it's not Cowan, who else could it be?
Huh?
If it's not Cowan, who else could it be?
I would imagine it'd be Newt if it's not Cowan. Cowan or Newt would be my decision. I mean, my choice or my thought. I think he's going to go Cowan because I think that this ballpark plays a little bit more to his game. Like throw strikes. I think he has a little more confidence in him throwing strikes for a longer period of time. I know everybody's going to talk about, oh, well, his last outing he did not do that, but I think that was kind of an anomaly. He hasn't shown that he's going to throw the ball all over the place, hit guys throughout the course of the year. So I like that. Big ballpark, make him hit the ball, do those types of things. Offensively, I think if LSU continues to do what they do, or they've been doing, they've been great. Actually, unbelievable. Record-setting with 2 outs right now in Omaha. They have, 2 outs, 2 strikes, or 2 outs RBIs, or I don't even know what that average is, but I think it's extremely high. A lot of their runs have come out 2 outs. You have that stat for me, Wood?
8 for 15 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Look, I know it's too hard to keep you on camera, isn't it?
No, look, I'm fixing it right now. Watch. Here we go.
Oh.
I just made this. So give me 1 second. One more second. And we're all together, boys. Hey.
There we go.
There we go.
That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, so I figured I'd make this. Oh, look, there's Christian Cali over there to my right.
There you go.
Somebody else is in the background. That's not a shirt.
Yeah, that's my special boy. I think. But no, I believe it was Fonz Frelli that actually sent us 8 for 15. LSU was with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, which has been a woe for this team. Apparently, that everybody has latched on to, and it's kind of like made a point of when LSU doesn't win, it's because you don't get hits with runners in scoring position. That's just baseball. And so,
yeah.
But you've seen what Bear Jones. He had 4 RBIs after going 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts, and then you have Stephen Milam has been unbelievable in the postseason.
Hey, what do we say? A big key to this offense throughout the course of the postseason is going to be Milam, right? Him getting hot, it's going to really change the lineup. Milam was hitting like 275 3 weeks ago, and now his average is like right at 300.
That's crazy.
And he's driving in 10 guys. I know a lot of people are like, oh, offensively, he hadn't had as good of a year as he had last year. I would argue that he's had a better year, right? Take the average out of it. He's had he has more RBIs, more home runs, more extra base hits than he had last year. And, now his average is creeping back up to the 300 mark. That's been a huge addition to them here in postseason play. And then Jake Brown obviously has continued his really good season. He's kind of gotten hot again. And then obviously Curry doing his deal. So some of the other guys who kind of last few weeks have been struggling have gotten hot again, which I think has been evident for the LSU offense. And look, we had a conversation about offensively, who do you like? Do you like the way LSU's offense matches up in Omaha? And I liked it because of the way they're able to play some small ball and they're able to score runs a bunch of different ways. And they've shown that the last 2 games. They've done that. They've scored runs a whole bunch of different ways. I think they have 1 homer. There's a backside, which, by the way, that ball was hit 111 off the bat and it barely got out. Like, that's pretty ridiculous.
That ball was crushed. What are you talking about?
But you have
Bear Jones?
You have 1 homer. Yeah.
The ball was murdered, and I was like, we were all kind of watching it, and I was like, I think everybody was kind of saying it, like, it would be unbelievable if he got one here, and then he obviously gets a hold of one, and then it almost gets robbed, and it's like, good Lord, and that was into the teeth of the wind. That's as hard as you can hit a baseball in Omaha.
Yeah. No, but I like the way they set up offensively. Moving forward, especially with winner goes to the final, or I guess if they win, they go to the finals. But I like where they're at. I do. I like where they've been playing. I like where they're at.
I have a question.
I mean, how could you not like where they're at this point, right? Like, you are the team in the draft. You are the 2-0 ball club. Somebody's got to come and beat you twice to even get into the national championship series. If you look at where LSU is right now, I mean, like, essentially for them not to win a national championship game, they have to lose 4 out of the 5 next ball games. It's basically where they are. Or 4 out of their 4 next, or 2 out of 2, however you want to look at it. Like, that's kind of where they are. You got to lose 2 straight, or 4 out of your or 3 out of your next 4, which I just don't think that they're going to do. Right. Like, I'm not exactly sure that that's where they are as a team. So yeah, they're in the driver's seat. They're in a really good spot, and it'll really help you if you're able to get it done tonight, line it up, and have Cade able to throw, and then have some guys get rested and ready to have the full arsenal of that bullpen, of that pitching staff for the championship series.
First time ever first time ever Jay has gone 2-0 in the College World Series. It feels like a little bit of unfamiliar territory after going through the 2023. Like, would you play Tennessee twice and Wake Forest 3 times, and then you get to Florida twice or 3 times? Like, you fought your way back, and that's where I bring up the Arkansas spot of this, of like, do you think there's any merit to playing more baseball as opposed to kind of sitting back and waiting, like where you start to feel like you're getting hot? Like, I want to play again.
No, I wouldn't really say any merit to playing more baseball. If there's anything for me in terms of when I look at Arkansas and what they're doing and who they are, you do feel like, or I feel like at least that, all right, that offense that we saw all year, is it going to show up again? Because if it does, then that's a problem. That's a problem for anybody who plays them. Obviously, LSU just happens to be the one that is playing them. But if it does, that's a problem because so far through the 3 games that they've played yet, they have not really looked like themselves. Even in yesterday's game, I think they still scored 7 runs maybe. But I think 4 of those runs came in the 8th after they were already up like 3-0 or 3-1. Like, for the most part of this tournament that's happened in Omaha, we haven't seen the offense that we've seen from them. If that continues, great for LSU, right? Like that's a great spot for them to be. And that obviously has a lot to do with them getting ahead in counts, not falling behind, not throwing a lot of balls, not putting people on, all the free passes. So that's probably the biggest spot right now. And I'm looking at where they are and what they have to do to get going is, can they continue to keep that offense down?
Yeah, and look, on the other side of it, LSU's played, not as many games, but technically as much, right? They played half a game on Monday and then half a game on Tuesday, so it's not like they had all these days off, waiting to go and play Arkansas. Like, if history repeats itself, LSU will beat Arkansas and go to the World Series and win it and win the World Series. We did that in 2009. We had to play Arkansas twice in Omaha. They did the exact same thing they're doing now. Came out the losers. We beat them. Came out the losers bracket. And then we had to beat them again. LSU's going to obviously have to do the same thing. What's that?
God-awful uniforms.
Yeah, terrible uniforms. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think the baseball part of it, like, they're playing baseball, they're getting hot. And look, here's the other part of it. I saw a stat, someone on Twitter had posted this about the statistics between LSU and Arkansas through this year, right? Like, you could talk about a series where they played 4 times. This will be the 5th time. Like, that's a lot of baseball against one team in a year. And Arkansas against LSU, I think, is only hitting 250 as a team or 254 as a team. Arkansas has a high strikeout rate against LSU, but everything else, LSU has outperformed them. They're hitting better against Arkansas pitching, scoring more runs against Arkansas pitching. They're giving up less runs against Arkansas pitching. The only thing Arkansas has is they have a higher strikeout rate. So Arkansas's offense is one of the best in the country. But over the course of this year, LSU has done a really good job of keeping them at bay and keeping them in the yard and not allowing the game to get out of hand. I don't see why it changes. If they go ahead and throw strikes, try to work the count, and just go after them instead of giving them free passes.
Hey, do you think the Arkansas curse, if you want to call it that, do you think that that's at all on those players' mind at this point?
Whoa.
I don't think it's on their minds. I think that it's on Van Horn's mind, and I think that the way he is projecting maybe some things that they are like, all right, like he, and maybe I could be wrong, and maybe he's not projecting anything, and he's got this very stoic, hey, we got, we're in a good position mentality. But I mean, I think the players here, but a lot of those guys haven't been, they haven't been a part of any of those like big blunders. So, I think it's all about Alabama.
But yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it. But truth be told, like, you still hear the noise. Like, you still know.
You do.
Like when I stepped on campus at LSU, I understood that LSU had gone 2-Q in the last couple times there, and when we got a chance, we didn't want to go 2-Q.
Right.
So like, you still know. Like, it's not like they don't know what's going on.
No, right, for sure. I think it's a big, like, as far as it affecting you, I think it's big on how the staff acts. Like, it's like what they project to the team. Like, if they're projecting like, damn, Van Horn's getting a tight asshole right now. He doesn't know what he wants to get real. Not the same that he's been coaching us all year. Then as a player, you're like, oh well, okay, and then you start getting tight. If he kind of keeps his cool, which honestly, if I had to assume it, he's a veteran coach. He's been there long enough. I'd imagine he's kind of got the right mindset going into it. But I've never played for him, so I can't. I'm only doing that based off of nothing.
How many times has he been?
What do you got in that, Lloyd? What do you think?
How many times has Van Horn been to Omaha?
You're muted, Lloyd.
Oh, I'm muted. Okay, good. Well, they were saying that some audio was doubling. It might be your microphone, but that's okay. We're gonna keep battling through this.
I think you're muted still.
I am. Okay, back to me. Can you hear me now?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, how many times has Van Horn been to Omaha? Like, I'd imagine
This is number 13, I believe.
At some point, you're either a winner or a loser. Winners win, losers lose.
It's funny you say no. It's funny you say that because I do think like if we flip this and this was like college, if we flip this and this was college football and you go to the playoffs 13 times and you don't win it, I think it's fair. I think in college football, I'm not saying it's the same thing. If that happened at one school in college football, I don't think they get to the 13th time and still have the same job with the same school. I just don't. And if that's the question, and if you still did, I think that conversation would be super loud in every media channel, in every living room about who's at the helm as opposed to the school and everything else that goes on around it. I just do. So I do think like 13th time, and if you don't get it done, it's hard. And I get it. Baseball's a little bit of a different sport, but is it? It's hard to not look at, the chief of it all and say, well, all right, well, what's going on here?
It ain't the Indians.
No.
Been a lot of different Indians. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's the Indians.
The tribe's been big.
It's the Indians, not the Arrow at this point. And he's the one.
And they've had some really good teams. Yeah, they've had some really good teams.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if that does play a part in his mindset of like, buddy, this is tough to win, and I just keep falling into this hole of like battling back from the losers bracket. You have the toughest loss probably in College World Series history when you have. Speaking of captains, like I want me to do it. And then you had a ball falls foul that should have been caught and could have been the last out of the College
I went back and watched that play a couple of days ago. Oh, my God, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
Right. That's how they lost.
Because they're losing. That's what I'm saying to her. Like, maybe it's not meant to be for me.
It's crazy.
But
it's crazy. Because as years go by, you start to kind of sit here and think like, oh, man, maybe it was like something somebody had to die for. Nobody was really there. Bro, you go back and watch the play and you're like, oh, my God, that's how they lost this game.
Yeah.
They make this out, like this out right here.
That's baseball.
He was standing there. Like he was ready.
All three of them were.
And it still found green grass.
Yeah.
That's why I contend, dude. Winning
Maybe
the
there was
College
a
World
curse.
Series is the hardest one to win in all of championship sports. Like a World Series and a College World Series are the two hardest things to win, in my opinion, because of something like that can change the complexion of a 3-game series where you're like, oh no, and it happens right to you, and then boom, one hit. Like you saw, even like you can go back to the LSU UCLA game. Whenever like you felt like you're in full control of that series, right? You're in full control of that game, and then you have to bring in Shores to come close it out, and he gets one pitch, one out. But before that, when Cooper Williams is getting squeezed a little bit, you're like, hey, they got 2-1. Oh, they got the tying run at the plate, and it becomes, oh, wow, this happened super quick to you.
Yeah, no, listen, baseball at this level, in this situation, the stakes like as high as they are, there's going to be an opportunity where you can feel the game shifting one way or the other, and who's going to make that play to get out of, like, to take advantage of that opportunity. Are you going to make the pitch or make the play, or are you going to give up to hit?
I said, like, it either drops in foul territory or you make a play. Like, that's what this game is. The inches are all around you. And Jay Mitch talks about this all the time, where he's like, the swells of between football and baseball are all contingent on, like, one thing. Like, football, it's going to be loud. Baseball, you can feel it where it's one thing happens, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here we go. And the whole thing swings. And shout out to the LSU contingency because, I mean, I saw what Jay said. I don't know if y'all saw it, where he was like, hey, great at night. 7:45 roll call. Nobody was really there. It's like, we're not morning people. You got to get us late at night because the late because we stayed. Yeah, exactly. And it's good.
You knew what was coming at anyway. Let's be honest. You knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey. When you get the 10 a.m. start, it is Bring your own desire, bring your own juice. You got to BYOB at that point because you got to create it because you just know ain't going to be in the ballpark. I'm just going to be honest.
Hey, and listen, that's a credit to those guys. We've talked about the character of the team all year, right? Like you had your ace on the mound, you had a rain delay, you got to come back early in the morning. You're up by a run, and you're like, damn, we got to restore. We had a bunch of momentum, and you go out there and you get 3 quick outs, and you put up 2 runs, right? Like instantly from that day, you're like, all right, we're not letting off the gas, and we just came out here swinging it and ready to go, and like says a lot about those guys. You know, the whole year, all the players and coaches and everyone that's come talk to us on our show has been, this real close knit. Everybody's got this. Everybody's got like this great relationship, and you can see it in situations like that. You see it in the rain delays throughout the course of the year. You saw it in that game in Omaha on the biggest stage. So I think that bodes well for them moving forward too with the game tonight. And regardless of what happens tonight, the games following that.
I know y'all hate these questions, but if it is Beetlejuice on the mound, do you think you go Pearson back to lead off?
Well, I mean, that's been what they've been doing recently.
I'm starting to see a little bit of a theme. That's what I'm asking. Like, it's not the weirdest question in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll see a lot of the same thing, but I kind of the way I talked about the whole Zach Ertz situation is kind of how I look at this situation still. It's going to be, if you go back to that ball game, it wasn't anybody hit him very well, but he walked a couple righties,
right,
gave up some balls in place, right? It's going to be, how do these righties fare in terms of giving you extended innings or putting runners on and giving you the opportunity to get to them, right? I think a good amount of these lefties are going to somewhat neutralize left-handed bats. It now becomes like, what do these right-handed bats in this lineup give us in these situations? And it is like we presume it to be a lefties on the mound, and how long he can go against this lineup.
Yeah, and that's, look, if the Root matchup was going to fare, and how does LSU fare against Root? And one thing that we talked about, and one thing I brought up was, look, he's got electric stuff. Right? You saw it against Tennessee, but he does a lot of, hey, here's my nasty breaking ball in the zone, out the zone. Here's my changeup in the zone, out the zone. And we're like, if LSU can lay off of that, especially the righties, they can lay off of that, and they can keep make him come into the zone. They're going to have a lot of success. They laid off. They got some walks, and they were able to capitalize on those walks with a couple hits and to drive in some guys and get him out early. And obviously he threw yesterday and threw great, but he's got nasty stuff, and he's got nasty strike the ball stuff, and LSU did a really good job with that. So if they continue to do that with Beetlejuice on the mound, I don't even know what his real name is. What's his real name?
I sent y'all the group text of all the pitching and everything that I was looking at, but I'll look it up real quick. His real name is his real name is Beetlejuice.
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 We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
We're just going to Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. But he's a lefty, he's on the mound. I'd imagine he's going to try to get you out. Get yourself out by you chasing out of the zone. Look, there's not many guys
left
that have stuff.
Real quick. Can I flip this for you? Imagine if you're LSU in this spot. Like, how would you feel? Who would be your
LSU
guy?
was in the spot 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
and
like,
you needed an unbelievable performance.
Right. So you're asking Beetlejuice to come in here and like have an all-timer. And we've talked about that before, 1 to win 1. And that's where they are. They're playing one game to win one game every time they set out there until they get to a championship series. Like, this thing happens. So don't be surprised if you do get a legacy game, and don't be like, oh, the LSU offense stinks. Like, LSU's won, they're 50-15. They won 50 games. Ride with what the guy that brought you here is doing.
Well, it's not going to be easy. Like, I'm not saying, they're throwing this guy, you're going to go and score 15 runs off of him. That's not the case.
Love
like,
it.
You're going to have to be as locked in as you were in the first game, and as patient as you were, and, continue to stay within your approach and not do anything, and not let this guy get in a rhythm. And that's how you beat him.
And that's why I think you put Pearson leadoff. Like, I think he's done a hell of a job of being that first guy in the lineup whenever it's a lefty-lefty matchup, and you see him up there, and it's like he has the ability to go. And you saw it whenever he let off, 2 games ago? First swing hunting Like, was trying to go attack, ambush, go get an at bat. And I think that's why you put him there, because he's got a veteran approach. You trust him to be able to go make whatever decision he wants because you trust him at that spot. And now when you look down the lineup, you have a Dickinson that lays down a bunt. You have all these different things that the lineup is so interchangeable, and that's what moves around so much to me, because everybody 1 through 9 can hit 1 through 9.
Yeah. No, look, I don't mind Pearson, leading off. Are they going to do it? I don't know, but if they follow suit on what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks, yeah, I would imagine he's going to be leading off, and Jake won't start, and Jake will come in the game whenever it's time for him to come in the game. If they stay true to what they've been doing.
What do you think they do at third?
I mean, if it's starting, it's going to be Braswell.
Yeah, definitely Braswell.
But But you saw what Pearson coming in the fourth?
Yeah, but he's tended not to do it that way. It's been the opposite way. Whereas if it's been the righty, he starts the left-handed bat, and as soon as he's bounced, he's out. He hasn't really pulled Braswell super quick when it's been a lefty start and maybe the lefty comes out. So I would expect it to be, if the lefty comes out in the third inning, that if Braswell gets the start, I wouldn't expect Braswell to be out at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's to me. That's just been the situation all year. And you're going to put him there. And look, at this point, that defense is important.
It's paramount.
It's not only important. You got to think about it. Like, it's called, usually teams go to late game defensive replacements because they want the defense there. So if he starts him, he's going to have him there for a longer period of time because that's what he wants in the game for that situation. Right. Now, if it comes on to the late part of the game or later in the game, or so be it that they're down 5 runs in the third, maybe he thinks he needs a bat at that point.
Right.
But I don't think you pull the defensive guy out that early. Like, that's just, it doesn't usually happen.
Right. I agree. And that's, you go back to our experience. We didn't have the lefty-righty hitters, right? But, Helene played third in Omaha because of how good he was defensively. And he saved a couple runs for us at third base. And, when you're in this situation, and you're getting down to the end of the season and every out matters, that's the guy you want. And look, and it's not like the defense has been god awful on the other end, but Braswell is just the better defender.
Buddy, I've been privy, thank you all for the credential and everything that's happened here, but watching the in and out has been like, Braswell is just, I don't know if he was trying to prove a point, but he was as efficient as you can be at third base. It makes a difference because you see the double plays. You see the way that he fields the position. Whereas, what is he, 1 for 30? It doesn't matter because of the way he plays the spot.
That's been very evident this postseason on how sharp the infield's been. They've turned a ton of double plays. They've turned multiple 5-4-3 double plays. Milam's double play he turned by himself the other day was great, right? He had a lot of things happening in front of him. They have
two shortstops going at it right there.
Yeah, they have.
I'll also say this too. I get it. I know what his numbers are this year, but don't forget the experience that he has in the league, in the SEC, and don't forget that the guy also hit 300 last year as well. So there may be things that Jay sees from day to day where he feels like, no, maybe I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm still going to get a strong professional at bat out of him. And maybe to him, maybe he values, maybe if this guy could turn this into 5 to 6 pitches in the at bat, maybe he's done good for us there. Maybe he values that.
And you've seen the ability to bunt or draw Walker get hit.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
But that's the professionals. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The ability to handle the bat and say, hey, listen, you get into situations, I have a lot of confidence in you to move this guy.
And you're forgetting, we're sitting here looking at that too. I'm pretty sure the last game they played in, he had a 2-out bases loaded situation where he'd hit an absolute rocket right at one of these outfits. If that ball gets down, that's a hit. So there's, these things kind of go throughout the year, and we can't. It's so hard to get caught on just average and not really understand what a guy is bringing to your order, not only defensively, but what he may be doing when he gets opportunities at the plate as well.
I got no problem with Braswell out there. I love him. I think he's doing everything right. and then whenever you get the opportunity, like it's going to happen at some point. Like the worst at bat he's had was when he got yanked early against Arkansas Little Rock. Like it was a bad, like non-competitive at bat, and he pulled him in like the second or third inning, and that was that. But then after that, you've seen a mindset change. Like you see the jersey signing. He wants to be here. He wants to be a part of it. And the defense you play, keep running into one. Like keep giving yourself opportunities. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I have no problem with him at third base. I think that's the correct move.
Yeah.
But like I said, I love where we're at tonight. I love where LSU set up. Lay it out for me, Jay. Lay it out for me. How is the game going to play out? Cowan's going to start, we assume, and then followed by how's this game going to happen? How's LSU going to win it?
Followed by who? I don't really know because, like I said, those guys, I feel like the Chase Shores and guys like that are still available. So I don't know exactly how he's going to use them. But what I do think happens is I think you get a pretty low score in a fair tonight. And I think you're going to see guys being able to extend at bats and or poke singles in spots.
But, you may get two. We've seen big innings for us or big pitches for us. And then, got to figure out who's going to close it. Because two guys you've relied on the most over the course of the year has been Cowan and Evans. Well, neither one of those guys are going to be able to close it out today unless Cowan goes CG. The next guy who's closed out some games recently has been Chase Shores, and he didn't throw a ton yesterday, so I'd imagine he's available. Maybe he comes in for an inning, closes it out. But it's going to be high, like you said, Jared. It's going to be a high level baseball.
So 22 pitches so far.
Who's that? Chase Shores?
Yeah, Shores, which is crazy because you've seen him
a couple
two
of games combined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying. I feel like those guys are still available. Like, he's still available. So, it'll be interesting to see how they choose to use the back end of the bullpen. We also talked about it, too. Like, is there a world where, I don't know, let's say you're up 2 or 3 runs and you see Einstein get loose?
Right.
Is there a world where that happens? Like, I don't really know. Yeah.
And I do. I believe that there's, and it's not going to be a ton. He came out the other day and said that his bullpens are 45 pitches anyway, right? So he threw 40 Sunday on Monday, and he hasn't thrown again since. And so, I could see him coming in there, closing that game, and then starting the Sunday game.
Wait, hold on.
Depending on the pitches.
Let's have this real conversation because now that you mention it, we don't know who the starter is. We don't know what's going to happen. But, how quickly would you go to Einstein? If that is an option, it's only been 40 pitches. Like, how much you expect to ride him if it's because look, I'm just going off the last time you saw Cowan, and it was what? And the last time you saw Newt, it was 1 1/3, and it's like, okay, get me out of a spot, and that's what they put Einstein in.
Well, here's the thing: when you say how quickly, if he's not getting the start, what would make you go to him quickly? That's the question. That's
what I'm asking. Y'all know more than I do.
I don't. That's my point. I don't think there's a go to him quickly. Why are you going to go to him? If I'm going to use him out of the pen, even if I'm in a spot where I'm up, I would rather not take the situation with a 2-run lead to put him in the game in the 5th. Because if he does, then we can't use him tomorrow, and we probably can't use him in the championship series either. Maybe unless it's still the if necessary ball game. Why would I want to put myself in that spot? If I'm going to throw Anthony Ianson, here's what I don't want. I don't want to get bounced from the playoff situation when I only got a 3 innings plus inning start out of him, and me trying to close a game where we didn't need him in the back end. And we didn't get it done. So then now I end up running into maybe 1 more game and or possibly 3 more games where I can't get Anthony Ianson. I wouldn't want to do that.
So
I believe you do not see Ianson unless you have a 2-run lead in the 9th. You're going to see him throw minimal amount of pitches. You're not going to put him in the 5th and tell him to finish the game. It's because you know what? At the end of the day, if something happens and you say you're up by 1 or 2 runs in the 5th inning and you end up losing the game and you don't burn them, you can throw them tomorrow. You can throw them in the if necessary game and get to the championship and figure it out there. So I believe that if you're going to use him, you're going to use him in the back end of the game, minimal pitches, very similar to the way they did it when he closed the last one, and say, hey, listen, you're going to go out there, you're going to end the game, and you're going to get the save, and you're starting on Sunday in the championship series. That's the only way I think you see him tonight.
Right, because it's like what you don't want to do is run up his pitch count and essentially kind of have what happened to him in the game before, where if I'm really looking at it, he didn't get hit. Like, he didn't get hit hard.
He got
and so
wedged.
what I don't want to do is have quote unquote bad luck and or close 50-50 calls on the corner that he doesn't get. Now we'll run up the pitch count. Now we can't use him and we still lost. Like, that's what I don't want to do. So I don't want him to have to, if he's going to throw tonight, if he's going to put cleats on tonight, it's got to be in a situation, I would imagine, where we feel that the pitch count is not going to get run up. Like, that's kind of where I want him.
Yep. 100%. I would imagine today is a bullpen day for him anyway. You know, I would imagine, I mean, he didn't have a full start, so his schedule's probably a little bit, wonky right now, but I would imagine today is he probably needs to get some work in anyway, you know? So go get the work in on the field, go win the game, and then you'll start on Sunday and do all American shit that you do.
All right, boys, I got to go. It's
you got to go.
It's game time. We got to get on the field.
You're going. Okay. Well, that's all we got for you today.
I'm sorry, but
I didn't know you had to leave it.
I'm getting
I know you had to leave at 4:30.
I'm getting the fast forward from Noah. He's like,
I gotta go.
All right. Look, boots on the ground. Lloyd, appreciate you. Prediction before we go. Give me the score prediction.
6-4 LSU.
All right.
They're not favored, by the way. Vegas has Arkansas favored.
Well, they're both minus money.
That's not how. Well, but both minus 110.
If you take
yeah, LSU was plus 115 or 120 earlier, but I'm in the wrong state.
Yeah. What you got, Jay?
5-3 LSU.
Mikey, what do you have?
I
got a Daniel Dickinson homer, by the way.
Yeah, I know. You said what?
Daniel Dickinson homer.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a big call. I like LSU by 2. I like a 4-2 game. It's gonna be real low scoring.
Better than Stacks.
That's it. All right, hey, enjoy the game. We're not gonna do segments. Appreciate everybody watch. If anybody watch, we appreciate y'all. If not, go tune in.
Just under 100.
Perfect. Love that. Go have fun, Lloyd, and hold it down for us mic'd up guys over here since we can't make it or we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Willem to the championship series.
Jared.
Do it, Lloyd. Bring the juice today, Lloyd. They need you. Bring the juice.
Buddy.
I can't. I don't have. Mine doesn't work. Only yours works. Nobody works.
Oh, just half of that. I guess that's on my. That's on me. That's on me. Just half.
Mine doesn't do anything. All right. Later.
Oh, boys. But before we go, I did fix the RV. I fixed the party box, and nobody gave me any credit because they didn't believe it. But a quick Google search, and I was like, oh, all you do is hold down these 4 buttons, and guess what? This thing will work again. They've got the jacks up, so that's where we got it from.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody believes me. Except for it's on the vlog. It's on the vlog.
Hey, no.
Good for you. I'm gonna go see it.
No, hey, check it out.
All right. Hey.
Tingle and Co. in the morning, mic'd up at
Love
9.
y'all. Peace.
Do it one more time. Hit him one more time. Hit him one more time.
Yeah, we tried it. It's not. We can't do that, Lloyd. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, yes, it does.
No.
Go.
One shot, Lloyd. This doesn't count, okay? We get one shot.
Oh, man. All right. Lloyd, be safe.
All right, boys. Love you.